I find it, I buy the first thing that I see. Well, we're going to find out this morning from an e-commerce trainer. He's been in the business for a long, long time. We won't even tell him because he looks like a baby right here in the studio this morning. Andrew Tan in the house this morning. We are talking about navigating the maze of e-commerce platforms, goods. If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, do you know what you need to do? Let's get and clear the air first and foremost. Very good morning, Andrew.
Morning, Keith.
Why do I need an e-commerce trainer if I am a buyer or a seller?
E-commerce trainers basically tell you how to navigate your way through the confusion that's on the internet.
Okay.
There's a lot of information. Some are good, some are bad, some actually make you lose money. So what an e-commerce trainer does is show you how to get to that shortcut way of creating an income online.
Creating an income online. Now, lots of people find that's easy. I've got stuff to do. I'll go to a wholesaler somewhere else. How do I position myself if I am a seller? Lots of kids do this these days. Kids in school, kids in the university for, some extra income. And I'm a fashionista. How do I source for the right products, and how do I ensure that I get the products I want? And how do I get the products to the people that will perhaps patronize my e-commerce platform?
Okay. It's a traditional thinking that you should always look at the product first, and then what are the benefits, and then sell that product. But I take a different approach, as in if you want to start your own e-commerce store, it's best to focus on the customer first. Like, what are their needs? What do they want? What are their habits? What are their lifestyles? And then decide, in particular, do your research to find out what kind of products people want to buy and they're willing to pay money for, and you give them what they want. That will make things a lot easier.
Right. So in that situation, say I'm an astute person. I've done my research. I've done everything else. What is the biggest mistake I do? Or is that the biggest mistake, thinking that I know everything?
That probably is one of the biggest mistakes that newbies make, which is to focus on the product first.
Okay.
I would rather say focus on not losing money. And how do you not losing money is to look at what people want to buy, then source, but you may not get the lowest prices, because if you do get the lowest price, your minimum order quantity is going to be high.
Right.
And then what happens if you get dead stock on all those minimum order quantity? You tend to lose money.
Sure.
And then my third step would be to say, ensure that you do your calculations, do your profit and loss account, to know that for every transaction you are at least making a profit, then spend the money to get the stock in.
Have you been an e-commerce purveyor before? Have you been online trying to sell your products, Nicholas?
Yes.
Successfully?
Yes, I started off selling digital products. I started selling Bluetooth earpieces, mini speakers, and then that has evolved to now I am the proud brand owner of Singapore's first diaper brand called Peekapoo.
Okay.
And
Peekapoo, I like that.
Yeah, and I don't use any offline retail methods. I started off totally online. I started selling on Qoo10.
Right.
And the first day when I launched the Qoo10 at 12 a.m., between 12 a.m. to 9 a.m., I had like 1,300 sales. And it was a totally unknown product in a highly competitive market.
Right.
And the formula that I used was I started to study the market first, like in this industry, like diapers.
Okay.
It's still traditional, where it goes from the brand owner to the sole distributor, wholesaler, retailer, blah, blah, blah. Every time it changes hands, the price increases.
Right.
So what I decided is there a way I could disrupt this market?
Right.
And I thought that e-commerce is that platform that allows the brand owner to cut all the middlemen and go through the internet to get to the end consumer.
Sure.
And because of that, the cost is significantly reduced while the quality of the product increases.
Okay.
And I feel that would be a good match to what customers want. They want a higher quality product. They'll always want a faster service. They'll always want a cheaper price. So if you can give them a cheaper price, higher quality product, and faster delivery, that becomes a winning formula for e-commerce.
In the next segment, I want to talk about how you put all this together. How do you find what people really want? How do you persuade? Well, for this particular segment, how did you persuade the distributor or the manufacturer of this product to sell to you directly, since you were rather new?
Okay, so if I actually created this brand on my own, and what I saw is in the industry there are factories who are willing to work with brands like us, and maybe I should talk from perspective of really a new beginner. So how do you get the supplier to like you?
Not only like you, but even trust you to entrust my product to you.
So it comes down to studying what the supplier wants. And what the supplier wants is always a person who does not waste their time, who's willing to commit a long-term relationship, and is good with their payments.
Right.
So if you can negotiate in such a way that builds a trust to say, I'm willing to work a long-term business with you, I've got this budget, I'm willing to commit to that number of stock I'm taking from you, then let's talk about giving me the best price you can at whatever quantity I'm taking. Of course, the key thing here is we are focusing on being a risk-free business rather than trying to dump too much money.
Right.
So in that kind of case, to be risk-free would be a delicate balance between taking the quantity of stock to match the amount of demand there is coming in. For example, if 1 week of sales would be like 100 sales, and you know that 1 week you sell 100 pieces, don't go and take 1,000 pieces at one go, and make sure you sell that 100 pieces every week. And if that statistic tells you that you are steadily selling that amount, then increase the amount of volume you're taking in.
How did you perhaps test the market? How did you know that people would want this particular brand of diapers? Is a question, questions we're going to put to Andrew when the Breakfast Club continues after an update of what's happening in the world and on the roads. Andrew Tan in the house this morning. He's an e-commerce, well, I guess an evangelist, because he's been through the paces himself, and now he tells people how to not lose money on these platforms. If you want to get in on the conversation, give us a call, 669-11938, but hold it till after the news. Andrew, thanks for making it in. We'll talk to you in just a little while. Stay with us. Good morning.
In the know, on the go. 938 now. The Breakfast Club with Qoo10.
We're back into the Breakfast Club on your morning fix right here on 938 now. We're speaking this morning with the e-commerce evangelist, Andrew Tan. He's an e-commerce trainer. He is also the director and trainer of his own class, E-Freedom Maker, which is under the company Workshop SG, and has received Dun & Bradstreet's Business Eminence Award twice over the past 3 years. He's imparting his wisdom here on the Breakfast Club this morning. If you're a business wanting, or if you're a person wanting to start up something online, buying or selling, this might be the conversation you might want to tune into, or give us a call at 669-11938 or text us at 963-11938. That's our WhatsApp number. Andrew, welcome back into the program. Andrew, people who start out think, since I bought stuff all over the internet, I can perhaps make this foray and perhaps line my own pockets with the proceeds. Is it as easy as that? How do I source for, a supplier? How do I source for a platform? And how do I ensure that I have buyers, given the fact that do I need, first and foremost, to go down on the ground? Say I have a supplier in China. Do I have to go and meet that supplier first and foremost? Or can I do this online, given the fact I don't know who I'm talking to?
Okay, so you don't have to go to China, definitely. You can start it all from the comfort of your own home. And the key thing would be, I think the easiest way would be to look at the bestseller list on various platforms to see what's upcoming in trend. But it's important to really look at the review scores, like the feedback scores, or what other customers are saying about that particular product or that particular seller. That gives you a lot more confidence on whether should you be selling that particular product. And in fact, if you want to decide whether you should sell overseas or sell local, my take would be to start locally first, because it's much easier to control that business here overseas compared to control that locally rather than overseas. And the easiest place for me would be to start on marketplaces like Qoo10, Lazada, Shopee.
Sure.
Why? Because these marketplaces already have got traffic. That traffic is one of the biggest headaches of any internet business. You need people coming to your website. You drive the wrong traffic, they don't buy anything. You drive the right traffic, they don't buy anything, you don't make any money. So the key balance would be, where do you find these people who want to buy stuff?
Right.
And if you go to like Qoo10, Lazada, Shopee, they really spend hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars every month just to drive traffic. And all these traffic want to do is to buy something.
Right.
So most of these websites have got a list that tells you what's a hot trend or what customers are looking for. And if you follow these trends, you'll be able to identify at that time what people want to buy, and then use that information to source for the products, then give the customer what they want. But then, like if you want to source for products, you don't have to go to China. You can go to places like if you take eBay, for example, you type in the word wholesale, there's people selling wholesale. Or if you go to China will have like Taobao.
Right.
And Taobao is a C2C site, but yet at the same time there are wholesalers, there are also factory manufacturers who would put their products out there at a low price to attract the customer to come in and buy. Now, of course, there is one element missing here, which is how do you ship the products from China back to Singapore?
Right.
And there are freight forwarders locally, and there are freight forwarders in China who've got direct lines to Singapore where the delivery can be as fast as 4 working days, but the prices are even cheaper than some of the major delivery companies out there. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that all these figures and costings you can find out from your own research.
Sure.
Then put those numbers in to see if that particular product, in-demand product, and the expenses that you have to spend, if that all comes together and you still make a profit and you're happy with the profit amount, go ahead and start taking a small quantity of those products and start selling.
Let's go back one more time and to ask you why you started on this e-commerce platform. Why did you venture out on your own to be your own boss?
I was a youth at risk.
Okay. Okay.
I was a youth at risk. I never had good grades in school. I took a loan to go overseas to study, but then came back without a degree because I couldn't pay for the university fees. So I came back to Singapore around 2001, jaded. I didn't know what was my direction. And it so happened that I went to an Anthony Robbins course that helped me in my motivation. And along there, I started to discover internet marketing. I saw the trend was rising up where people are more buying online. And that time there was like eBay, there was Amazon. So being a person who didn't have much qualifications, I thought sales would be a good route. However, I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm actually naturally shy as a person.
Sure.
So I thought what would be the best way for a shy person who's not sales trained to make some money online? And I started to think of eBay. And that was when I started to research on eBay. I realized that you could buy wholesale products on eBay and resell them back on eBay. And that's how I started. And I created like a few $1,000s a month just selling. I started off selling thumb drives.
Right.
And each one maybe made a profit of like $5, but thumb drives at that time like would sell like 500 pieces a week.
Right.
And that in the end creates income for me that is even better than going to a full-time job. So that became the road that I took, that I thought if I go down into being an employee, someday I might just get retrenched. But if now I have a skill that I can use to feed myself for life, then I realized I don't need a job. And that became just that path that I took and never looked back.
When was that Eureka moment? When do you think that finally I've achieved something? Was it the diaper story?
Diaper story came a bit later. My first Eureka moment was in 2007 when I thought, oh, now I could take back control into my own hands with regards to finances. There was quite a bit of growth phase for me. I went through certain mistakes.
Sure.
I got cheated in business. I actually spent quite a lot of money taking wrong products, and in the end couldn't sell anything like that. So along the way, the biggest lesson that I learned is to never focus on the product and never fall in love with any product. Because if you fall in love with a product, you could be wrong.
Okay.
But if you follow the data doesn't lie. And the data is now updated online on a regular basis. There are softwares that you can use to find out the buying patterns of human beings.
Right.
And when you follow the data and source those products of what people want, the story goes on. And then with Peekapoo, it just became the next elevation. So what I saw in the e-commerce industry is if you're selling other people's products, the barriers to entry are so low that the competition starts to happen and people start to price war with each other. So in order to pass that price war or to transcend that price war, you have to become a brand owner. But if you become a brand owner, you end up having to spend a lot of money with big minimum order quantities.
Right.
So I decided to follow the route of being a private label guy, where I go to the factories, they've got their existing products,
Sure.
they've got existing formulas.
And you white label it.
And because you white label, you don't have to spend so much money to buy so much stock. But now you can call your own shots, you can price at a certain price, and more importantly, there's no competition. So you create your own space.
I don't understand there's no competition. If manufacturers are making this product, you buy it, you change the name onto your own label, would they not be already available on the market or online? As in their original form?
Yes and no. Like in the manufacturing industry, it's all about the ingredients and the parts.
Okay.
There'll be those that are in the market that are maybe, I would say, medium or medium average parts. But when you go to places like trade shows, you'll be seeing people showcasing to you the latest technology or the newest materials that they use. And then when they introduce you these kind of things, it would be a good idea to start thinking about how you can be different from what's existing in the market.
Right.
And that's when you assemble something that is unique to yourself. And I call that a variation of an existing good product. And because you create variation, you now become unique.
I'm just, I know I'm fixated with this Diaper Brand. So is this Diaper Brand still available?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. In fact, we started 2 years only, but within 2 years, we've been getting so many positive reviews from people converting from other brands to our brand because they realize that it lasts longer, and because it lasts longer, parents use lesser pieces a day.
Right.
And if take for a hypothetical example, a certain brand X would be about 29 cents per piece, whereas Peekapoo might be 33 cents a piece. But then in a 12-hour period, that other brand requires you to use 2 or 3 pieces, whereas Peekapoo only requires 1 piece. And in the end, parents realize that they save money with Peekapoo while they get a much better quality product with no rash and no leakage for the babies as well.
You were able to put these, claims out there as well. Did you have to specify to the manufacturer what you wanted in their product?
Yes, I did. In fact, it was the manufacturer who told me that, this is the latest technology. It's so much thinner. It doesn't contain any wood pulp. Therefore, it doesn't cause any
irritation.
No irritation, better breathability and comfort. So I looked at that premium quality ingredients and I said, let's go for that because that's not in Singapore.
And how were you able to price yourself, below the market? Because it was not available.
Yeah, that would have to be the internet. And because I could now go to the end consumer directly, I can cut down so many of the middleman costs. And that's why now the price that I sell, sometimes I sell them on promotions and discounts. Sometimes they're even cheaper than the big brands out there.
In the moments that we have left, there's been this talk out there that retail stores have lost their functionality and their relevance in our society. Do you find that, being an e-commerce purveyor, do you think that people will not do not go to the retail malls anymore. We've seen it. They're going to the food outlets rather than to the shopping outlets.
I think retail is a lifestyle. I don't think it will die. I think it's evolving though. Like in the past, we see Orchard Road fully packed with people. But what I see as the future of retail would be more showcase.
Okay.
Showcase of user experiences, people trying out the products.
And then going online to buy it.
And then scanning a QR code on the spot and buying. Or if they want to take it on the spot in retail, they pay the retail price. But they could literally look at something and then scan a QR code, cut the queue at the cashier, but get the product sent the next day at a discounted price. And that way, it is better for retailers this way. They don't have to pay for the hefty rental that they pay. They can scale down the size of the shop, but they increase on the user experience.
So make a pop-up store, so
in a way, so to speak, yeah. And I do see that happening in the future more and more as retailers become more customer-centric.
Do you perhaps have one of these touch, see, and feel places at the moment for your products?
For my products, not yet, because what I've been seeing, the changes actually happened overseas. Like when I went to Taiwan, there are shopping malls where you walk in, they have a pinhole camera that studies you. If they already have a data of you and your preference and all that, you walk down 10 meters down the aisle and you are seeing an LCD screen popping up something that recommends specific to you. And I see that as the future. And then sometimes it could be with augmented reality. You can be seeing your own self, your own picture with a new outfit on. And I feel that would be the future of e-commerce.
Besides imparting your knowledge to buyers and sellers, what's next for Andrew Tan?
What's next?
Do you have to constantly change your product mix? Do you constantly have to be different online?
I feel the brand is important. Products are easily copied. But if you can have a loyalty from your customers base, and that's where the key to every business success to me would be your database. If you have a database of customers, you can sell to them again and again and again. You can build a relationship with them. You can become friends with them instead of having this kind of touch and go one-time off retail.
Right.
Yeah. So in the future of me, I'll be focusing more on building this brand. Perhaps after I sell off this company, I'll build another brand. I haven't really thought of that. But to me, it's exciting. The future is really exciting. Alibaba is a leader. And I'm excited to see how this whole industry is just going to change the human buying patterns. Is
this form of buying and selling going to eliminate part of the shopping population, do you think?
It has affected the shopping population without doubt. And I don't think it will die off. I just think retailers need to evolve to include e-commerce into their retail. For example, go online, sell on Qoo10, Lazada, but get the customers to redeem their products in their offline store. And that way, they can make use of the online traffic, drive them to offline store, upsell the customer other more premium quality products.
You know, there was so much more that we could talk about, Andrew, given the fact of security, data security, whether I'm going to get my products, the ones that I always wanted, but when I open the box, it's like something wrong. I wish we had more time. Andrew Tan is the man. He's an e-commerce trainer. He is also the trainer of he's the e-freedom maker under the company Workshop SG, receiving the Dun & Bradstreet Business Eminence Award twice over the past 3 years. It's been a fascinating conversation. Andrew, stay, come back, talk to us again really, really soon. You've been listening to The Breakfast Club on your morning fix right here on 938 Now. I'm Keith Souza. Have a good rest of the day.
938 Now. LTA Traffic News.
625-8400's Traffic Watches number. Let's see what's happening on the roads as we speak.